Well, hey guys, Larry up here in the Yooper House, and today we're going to be starting a pretty good project of putting a new roof on this house. Um, I was going to put steel on it. That was my original plan, but I priced it out. This thing needs a new roof badly, and it also needs new siding. It looks bad. So it needs both of them, but financial wise, I looked at it and I was going to put the steel on. And I was going to put regular like pole barn steel on it, 3 feet wide. You put screws all through it. But that was my plan. I wasn't really thinking about it. And my next door neighbor, I was talking to him, telling him I was going to start this project. And he asked me what steel I was putting on. I told him that. And he goes, "Oh, I would not do that." He goes, "We put that on the backside of our house on one of our roofs. And the first year that it snowed, all the ice, it sticks to all the screw heads or nail heads or whatever you use." And he goes, and we hire a guy to go up there and clean the roof. And he goes, he just had the most horrible time up there. And finally, he just said, I can't clean this. I can't do this roof. And he says, we had it up there for 2 years. And he says, we went through a couple guys and everybody said no. So, because, shoveling, you catch all the screws and stuff and it's slippery. So I looked at it and they have this pro steel stuff. It kind of snaps together and the screws are hidden. But it's only 16 inches wide. And you got to put the special track thing on the bottom and everything else. And I priced that out, and for how much it's going to cost doing that roof, it's going to be about the same amount of money as shingling and roofing, or shingling and siding. And so what I have decided to do is to go ahead and just shingle it again. I think it'll be fine, and the thing is that way I can also do maybe the siding this year too financially and get that kind of done. Then the place is pretty much complete, and all I really care is if it lasts maybe 5 years. If it lasts 5 years, then I'm good, and by that time, finances will be all better and everything else, and I'll be able to put a really nice roof on it. But the problem is that inside the garage I put up a false ceiling in there. And this last winter, when it was melting and it's freezing and melting and freezing and stuff, it backed up and it caused a leak in a roof. And it leaked inside the garage and it ran down in that false ceiling and it ran down the wall. So I don't know, it was somewhere up in a valley, I think, or something. But it was just leaking in the garage. It has not leaked in the house. But if you look at the roof, you can see a lot of shingles are gone. The edges are all curled up and it's all really bad and everything else. So it needs to be done. So I was going to shingle over the top of it, and a couple people that do construction full-time and stuff, they've been talking to me, and they've been saying, it's not really I know it's not recommended. I'll even look for 5 years, but I decided I'm just going to take all the shingles off too. So I'm going to pull all the shingles off and start fresh. But the major thing that I have to do before I can start this is I have to build a new roof. Okay, so this is the main part of the house, this right here. The main slope of the house was built, each side, and that little square up there is basically the main part of the house. Then later on, this was built on, this living room. I think that the garage was already here, and then what they did is they built a living room in between it, and then kind of framed it in between there and stuff and built that living room in. So it's actually been like 3 different buildings combined into one. But, and then the thing is that originally this house did not have a bathroom in it. And so this was built when there was no plumbing, nothing else. And the well was over here and they would do the buckets and all that stuff. And later on, they decided to put a bathroom in it. So they added on this little part that sticks out here. And that's the bathroom. That's where the bathroom is in there. That big vent is for the water heater. And they added that on. And when they did that, they added that on and everything, they decided to make the roof line different. And they put that little peak in there. And then they decided to frame out for a closet over there that attaches onto the bedroom. And that one, they kind of put it a different way. So what happens is all the snow piles up, and it piles up right in that big V right on that stuff. And it does not come off. It gets so deep, it can be chest high up there sometimes. And so it gets really deep. There's a lot of snow that sits up in there. And if you actually look where that little V over there is in that flat part, there's actually a big rotten hole. And when I redid the house, that was really leaking, and I shoved that all full of silicone and all kinds of stuff in there to seal that hole up. I was planning on doing the roof anyways, but I just, did it so it didn't leak inside the roof or inside the house and wreck the work that I was doing. So my plan here is to cut off basically right on the top of the windows, and to cut all the way down, all the way to the closet, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, all the way across. Put up some support 2x4s across, put it on top of the wall, then build basically another wall about as high as that peak, because I need that to be that high for inside the bathroom for all the stuff that's in there. So I need it to be that high. Build up that wall, make this outside wall a little bit higher, and then I'm going to be making all my own trusses and going all the way up to the peak and build trusses from scratch, and they're going to come down and they're going to sit on this outside wall that I'm going to raise 3 feet. It's going to be a lot of work, and then OSB plywood over everything, frame it all out and everything, put OSB plywood up there. It's going to be less of a slope, which the snow is not going to come off as easily, but it's going to be one continuous slope, so it will be easier to go up there with a snow shovel for a roof snow shovel and push the snow off of there. It will make it a lot easier, and that way it all won't sit in just this one spot. It'll be less of an angle, but it's kind of the world that we live in. You got to have one or the other. So this is what I got. So this is my first project, is basically to build a new roof over the top of this. I'm going to be pulling all the shingles off, cutting it off, building up a wall, and then having to build all these trusses by hand and everything, and framing it all in and everything, and then plywood, and then trim it all out, and then put the tar paper down, and I can start shingling. So that's going to be my first project, is to start doing that. So right now, basically what I got to do is I got to get up there, I got to pull the antenna off, and I'm pulling the antenna off, and the antenna's staying off. I bought that big fancy antenna with a router and everything. I was going to come up here, wasn't going to pay for TV or because I really don't watch a lot of TV. And I put it up there, and I scanned and all around and everything, and I can only get one channel up here, and it's from Marquette. And it's the CW or something like that. So now that I have this real high-speed internet in the house, I can just, what do you call that? Stream, all kinds of shows and stuff. So don't really need the antenna at all. I think I'm going to try to take it down. I'm going to ask my mom, because my mom, I think, has Dish, and she was saying something about she wanted to get rid of it and just go back to an antenna. So I think I'll take it down and then see if she wants it and take it down there and mount it on the house down in Wisconsin. But that's the first project, is to get that stuff off and then start cutting this apart, and have to see what I got to cut out of this and everything. Build this wall, trusses, all this stuff. It's gonna be a lot of work. So I better get started. So tore into this thing, and it's got a lot of layers. You can see them all right here. I'll think how many layers of shingles there are. There's actually like a brown layer. It almost looks like a tile, almost, you can see it. Kind of right there's a chunk of it left I haven't taken off. Then there's tar paper. Then there's the green shingles. Then there's like a 3-foot wide, like flat roof rolled out shingle that has about 10,000 nails in the edges. And then there's regular 3-tap shingles. So all this has got to come off. It's all got to come off. Take it all the way down to the wood and everything. And then I'll start to rebuild this. Got some helpers over there. He's about falling off the roof. And I got 2 down there that are digging for a sidewalk. And no child labor laws are being enforced here. Get back to work. Stop leaning on your shovel. Well, guys, this is what I got done last night. Yesterday or whatever. I got half of that roof done on the house. I got half of the shingles pulled off. There's so many layers of shingles. There's 4 different layers on there and everything else. And there's so many nails. It's so hard to pull this stuff off. You can't use this like a pitchfork or an ice scraper or something to pull the shingles off. It's so many. It's really bad. But it's taken forever. I got about half of that one done. And then last night, just where I was going to go to bed, I decided to look at the weather. And at
at 4 o'clock in the morning. Said it was supposed to be rain till 7 o'clock in the morning. Now it's 7:30. I jumped up here in the middle of the night last night and threw that tarp up on there, and I'm glad I did it because it definitely did rain. So now I gotta jump up there, take the tarp off, and start working on taking the rest of the shingles. The goal for today is to get all the rest of the shingles all off there, down on the bottom, get all the shingles off, and then I can start reconstructing that and make trusses and all this stuff. I do have a friend come and help today. He does construction and stuff, so this helps speed things up a little bit, get some better, a little bit more, somebody who knows what they're doing and stuff, and get this all taken care of. So I'm gonna get to work and get up there and get that tarp off of there and get to work for today. Say hello. Hi. There you go. There's slave labor. So, torn apart, took all the shingles off of this roof, and plan on rebuilding this wall up here, and to make a I gotta sit down for a second. To make a wall for the new rafters to sit on, to make this a one slope deal. Here's the problem that happened. I tore into this wall, and this wall is horrible, and I don't want to do the weight on this. So I have a good friend of mine, I snowmobile with him all the time and stuff, and he was up here, and he's a contractor, and he was over here helping me and stuff, and he said, because I said somebody would just need to rebuild this whole wall, and he's like, whoa. And he said something about just building a new wall on the outside here, dig down, have footings, and then put concrete block in there and everything, and pour it and all this stuff down at the bottom, and then build a new wall right alongside this wall. And then we'll just pull the windows out and put it on the new framing and just extend the windowsills. And I was like, dude, that's a lot of concrete pouring. We got to wait for all that to cure, then to build walls and stuff. I got rain coming tomorrow night. They're talking maybe Monday. And then he came up with this idea, using these 4x6s and putting these 4x6s in here. There's going to be more of them coming. There's one right there and one over there that's got to be set yet. Putting these in, and then putting a header all the way across here to make a wall. And then we'll secure it to that wall and everything else. And then I'll build a new wall flush with these and everything, and bring the windows out and all that stuff. So that's the process we're doing right now. But the issue is, I blew my back out. I was picking these beams up at the lumberyard, and I grabbed one and I started to twist, and my back exploded. And I have a disc that is hopefully just inflamed. Feels like my leg is gonna blow up here. That sciatic nerve is just gone. But I was actually talking to him last night. He works downstate in Michigan a lot, and he was saying that he has to get down there for a job on Tuesday, and today is Saturday, and I was gonna just pick up a bunch of tarps, and I was gonna have him just tarp this up and everything else, and hopefully my back gets better in a few days or whatever, and get back on it. And then I said, you know what, dude, how about you just take charge of this, I pay you for it, and do this. So I got the boys here, and they're helping and everything, and they're getting stuff prepped for shingling. And we couldn't find any more 4x6s, so we ended up getting a 6x6, and we're cutting it down to a 4x6. But so I'm pretty much laid up. I can't lift a single thing. I can hardly walk. It's pretty bad. So I'm kind of, it's driving me nuts, but I'm just sitting around doing nothing. I'll see what's going on up in front. So what he's thinking is trying to get this shingled over here today, and getting this side done. And these couple gentlemen, they came from the church, and somebody put out a thing, saw I needed help, and they put out an email about it, and these two guys are sent it, and they've been out here helping. So that's pretty awesome. And we're putting all new sheeting down and everything, and then we're gonna try to shingle all this. So it's moving along. I'm just incapacitated. Well, I thought I'd shoot this like little ending clip, because I was kind of editing videos, and I didn't really have it. I was sitting here and I was shooting at the back, and the guys were starting to put the sheeting up on the roof and everything. And then one guy in the back, he needed a special bit for some of the sawzall that he's using.
And I said, well, you know, I wasn't really doing anything, and I was in such pain. I was just sitting in chairs and sitting on ice and stuff and helping, you know, guiding people. And I said, well, I'll go and get that. And I jumped in the truck and ran to the hardware store, got that bit. And then when I came back, I mean, it's a sciatic nerve is what it is. And the sciatic nerve, you ever have problems with the pain shooting on the back of your leg, and it just, nerves are just like on fire and everything. That thing was just going nuts. And when I got back, I actually tried to get out of the truck, and I couldn't get my leg straight. And it was just intense pain. And then I was like, I gotta get in the house. And I tried to make it in the house, got to the doorway, and that's when my leg had just shut off. And I actually went down to the ground, and then I sat there for a while trying to get it back, and just rolling around in pain for hours and stuff. And finally I just gave up, and I just called 911, and I had an ambulance come pick me up. And I started a whole proceeding to the hospital and to the ER up here, and then off to Marquette I went, and did the surgeries and everything else over there. So that's where it kind of ended at. And that's where those guys that were there were a couple guys volunteering from the church that were helping and stuff. And there was a guy also too that was a friend of mine that was snowmobiling with and stuff, and he does construction. He was there, and there was conflict going on and everything else, and they were trying to be told to do something, and the other person didn't want to do this. I don't know. It was a little bit of conflict, and they ended up just doing it, and it was really bad. And in the next video, you guys are going to see the results when I get back from the hospital and everything. And I looked at it, and I just went, whoa. it was kind of a mess, but you know, God bless him for the guy for trying. I mean, I appreciate the effort and everything else. It just, you know, probably shouldn't have been done the way, but oh well. Life goes on, and you just regroup and do it all over again. All right. So I thought I'd just shoot a little ending to that video, because that was the last clip I have, because right after that I ended up collapsing. So it just kind of didn't end right. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope that everybody out there is having themselves a great day, great night as you watch this here video. And if you're not, certainly try that all over again tomorrow. I'll catch you later. Bye.